If you're interested in seeing me react to or discuss any of the shows on screen right now, feel free to go and cast your vote. You can do that by going to the community tab on my channel. I don't even know where to begin. I don't I don't even think I got anything I want to say before this. The shit's about to go down. It already has started going down. I don't even know what's happening, and we're just gonna kind of let it ride. I feel like the like and subscribe to mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments though about this episode or series. Let's go on to episode 10. The what? The what?
そんなの秋葉にあるわけないよ。だからマユシーは中野まで同時使用か。マユシー、お前メイクインでバイトしていたよな。メイクインって？メイクインニャンニャンだ。
She don't work there no more.
秋葉に萌え文化を取り入れるようにお願いしたのはフェイリス。
But the problem is we don't know if that's what she asked for. We don't know that though. We can just assume. The satellite's still there.
メイクインがあった場所とはとても思えん。
メイクインってジャガイモ？夏はジャガバタよりつけ麺しよう。
Glad you stay the same though, you know? That's what I want to know. Why is everything the same then?
フェイリスタンと知り合えたのはジャガバタラーメンのおかげだけど。
What?
リンとマユシが参戦して、その時の対戦相手がフェイリスタン。オカリンたちは惨敗したんだけど、その時からマユシとフェイリスタンはお友達になったんしょ。
Was this?
なるほど。
Okay.
昨日中野で買ったレイヤーさん写真集。
過去は変わっても。
That was the big question I had last time. Why is everything the same? Why is everybody the same? It also sucks because he's the one who has to deal with all of this and nobody else does. Like he's got all of this shit going on in his head. Of course, Chris is the one who has a reaction to it, right?
私は伝部の猛虎犯を見られたくないので一緒には行けません。
Yeah.
と。
猛虎犯なんてないわよ。
それにそもそも女子メンバー限定ならばそこのルカ子も無理ではないか。
She still don't know. No, you didn't. Oh, wait. Wait. Oh, no. What the fuck, bro?
最悪ね、あんた。女の子に向かって男呼ばわりなんて。そういうこと言うのマユシ好きじゃないな。
No.
僕、岡部さんに
It's
そう
so
いう風に見られていたんです。
fucked. Dude, I don't.
ルカ子、お前俺を担ぐのはよせ。
Yo.
証明の男だ。なぜならここに。
Why? I mean, I get it, but why? Oh.
やめ。
お前、拷問を受けただけだ。
まさか、マキセクリスに。
Who else would it be? Suzuha doesn't change at all throughout any of these. I haven't noticed a change in her.
女の拷問のうちに入らないよ。
I'll show you real torture.
本当の拷問を。
Yeah, you do.
そ
You
り
know
ゃ
a
戦
thing
士
or
だから
two.
ね。
You're a warrior, I thought.
これをサイクリングというのか。
Well, that's not what I was envisioning either.
東京に来たのは父さんを捜索するためだったんだよね。
Okay.
捜索蒸発でもしたのか。
もう何年も会ってなくて、
Yeah.
顔も覚えていないんだ。父さんが持ってた
That's
ピンバ
why
ッ
it's
ジ。
so important to
な
you.
らば、のんきにバイトなどしている場合ではないだろう。
ある場所に父さんが現れるかもしれない。それを
Tomorrow.
逃したら、私はこの町を離れなきゃいけないんだけどね。行かなきゃいけないところがある。
残念だったな、バイト選手よ。マッドサイエンティストであるこの俺に相談したのが運の尽き。お前は今日からラボ
You are staying here? No, thank you.
大となってもらう。
どうするの？
過去を変えるのだ。ひどいと思
You'll
う
be
が
our
お前
guinea
だ
pig.
が、もはや逃れられぬ。お前は蒸発する前の父親に D メールを送るのだ。娘を置いていくな、とな。
君っていいやつだね。
何？
なんかちょっとだけ楽になったかも。
Yeah, he's a better dude than he seems to think he is.
選手が父親に会えたなら祝いの会。東京での最後の晩餐を執り行う。そして、もし会えなかった時は残念会。その後、D メールの実験だ。
あれ、ダル君がいないよ。
今夜はオフ会があるから参加できないなどと。
Nice.
ふざけたことを言ってきた。
Oh, that's cool
す
though.
でに手は打ってある。このメールを先ほど送っておいた。
フェイリスの手料理とオフ会、どっちを選ぶのだ？だってフェリスちゃん
Yeah, it's fucked. Yeah, I know.
オカリンも一緒に買い出しに行こ
俺は尾行を。
う。だからダメだっつってんでしょ。
女子の分際で俺に指図するの。
また正座する？
Yeah.
今度は3時間ほど。
さて、宴会の準備を
Alright, yeah, yeah. Who? Who? It's not Moyaka. It's not her thing. The Jello? It's red.
これは
We got the leak in the bag. It's always how you show that you went shopping.
甘口がいいかな。それとも辛口？どっちがいいと思う？ウさんはバイト選手だもんね。選手と言ったらやっぱり
Part-time warrior.
次はお肉。
Ooh, dude, he has so much on his mind right now, and now he's just panicking over everything.
ねえオカリン、なんか元気ないよ。
Of course
だっ
not.
ていつもなら期間の妨害工作で牛肉がとっても高い、オペレーションタイムセールはまだかとか言ったりするの
He
に。
can't think straight right now. Maybe he's thinking more straight now than usual.
期間の妨害によりオペレーションアウズンブラの実行に
It doesn't have the
予想外
same,
の出
you
費
know.
が生じた。
すごい熱出して寝込んだことあったよね。
ああ、世間では2000年問題が騒がれていた時期だったか。
あの時ね、マユシーはオカリンが死んじゃうんじゃないかって流れ星がピューって一つ。マユシーは流れ星にオカリン死なないでって3回唱えたの。そしたら次の日にはオカリンの熱が下がって、
Wow. Maybe if we do that again.
オカリンの命の恩人になったの。
Yeah.
いや、違うな。あの状況で助かったのはシュタインズゲートの選択だ。
Don't take it away from her.
見ているものがぐにゃぐにゃしてきて、立っていられなくてフラフラして体がビクッとなったって。この前フェリスちゃんのマンションでもオカリンそんな感じだったんだよ。
熱を出して倒れた時のあの感覚、世界線を移動した時の感覚にとても似ている。ということは、リーディングシュタイナーは
Years
まさにあの時
years
この身に宿ったということ
ago.
か。
卵を茹でててくれる？はーい。電話レンジ使っていいかな？ダメです。生とマユリは椎茸刻んでおいて。はーい。
Can't trust her with a
アップル
knife.
パイに椎茸もゆで卵。
I was also wondering why we're
買うのよ。
いやいや、アップルパイに椎茸とゆで卵のサラダを付け合わせるのもいかがなものか。
タンタン。
そこを勝手に椎茸を刻むでない。
どいてどいて。
well dysfunction in this room. It's good he's surrounded by people like this though, because it definitely works as something to kind of calm him almost and take his mind off of the stuff that's happening. Instead of having everyone who's so serious and stuff all the time, you know? Oh,
フェ
well.
リスタンはいいずか？
橋田、あんた騙されてるわよ。フェイリスさんは来られないって言って。
チンオフ会？
僕がよく見に行く SF 関係の BBS のオフ
あ
会。プロの作家も来る予定だったのに。
これ面白い形の番号ですね。
沢田、そいつは暗号じゃない。
That might be
ガジェット
some
4号モアッドスネークだ。
クレイモア地雷。
やめろ。
Oh my god, bro.
これ使えるんじゃない？掃除機ですか？違うよ。未来ガジェット3号。あれ2号だっけ
5号だ。その名もまたつまらぬものをつなげてしまったバーイゴエモン。
掃除機の排気を。
待て、それを使うときは
Not
他の電化製品の
again,
電
dude.
源を切らなければ。お、ブレーカーが落ち。
We can't use anything in here. Oh, some shit's gonna happen when the lights are out, huh?
何がおかしい？
ごめん さいるアメリカの研究所って世界中から優秀な人たちが集まって
So it's kind of funny working with people like this.
あんたのラボは
Yeah.
幼稚だけど
But it brings back a lot of the joy that you got when you first probably started getting
別
into
に
this
褒め
type
て
of
るわけ
stuff.
じゃないからな。ただなんとなくそう思っただけというか。
俺は友達が欲しかっただけなのかもな。
Created a place for that. Want the same, but you can't admit it to yourself.
前に言ってくれたでしょ。私のこと大切な仲間だって。
Mm-hmm.
あれ結構嬉しかったっていうか。
The tension is building.
お父さんに会えたかな。
Doesn't appear
今頃
so.
水いらずの時間を過ごしてるんじゃない？
どちらにしてもラボには来いと言ったはずなのだが、お前たちはもう帰れ。
Aw. And he's gonna stay out waiting for her the whole time. What a guy. Aww. Aww. Bro, don't chase after her. You're gonna see something you don't want to see.
D メールを使って今日の昼間の俺に何があっても鈴葉を尾行しろと。
Mm-hmm.
だがいいのか、これ以上 D メールを使っても過去を改変しても。
That's the problem, but it's already so fucked up. Maybe you should.
サイエンティスト法院教魔、何を恐れることがあるというのだ。
The diluted personality of himself, it might be what causes things to get really bad. And the satellite's gone. Huh. We're gonna go back just to follow her this day. Wow.
おはようバイト戦士。サボり中か。父親に会えなかったので実験台となってもらうための最後の晩餐を開いた。
Yeah.
そうだな。一体どうやってお前を確保した？
君、お酒飲んでた？タイムマシンオフ会から帰ろうとしたら。
The farm meeting.
そこが父親の現れるかもしれないという場所だったのか。
うん、私の父さんはタイターって名乗ってるんだ。
ジョン・タイターか。
ジョンじゃなくてバレルタイター。それも昨日話したよね。君、携帯ムービー撮ってなかったっけ？
What the fuck?
マキセ・クリスさえいなければもっと楽しい。あいつのアップルパイ殺人的なまずさだったし。
Man killing
漆原ルカ
lady.
のカレーは極上だ。もうちょっとだけ頑張って父さん探してみるよ。
It's the butterfly flaps away. That is a type of episode that is incredibly special, in my opinion, where it's not, I guess, the mind-blowing experience in a way that we got in the previous episode, right? Where it was like, what the fuck just happened? And there are plenty of those moments, trust me, throughout this, right? Like where I had no clue where they were going with it. It was special in the way that there's so much that was talked about, set up, presented to you, put like right in front of you, basically, for you to kind of grasp onto possibly, or just keep in the back of your mind. And it gets kind of clouded almost by these wholesome and just cute moments between everybody, fun interactions with everybody. And these moments kind of take over in a way that typically in shows where you're trying to have a serious moment or trying to have something like this, I have some issues when they try and throw in some comedic relief things like at weird moments, especially if it is something that's like ultra serious. I prefer the tone to stay ultra serious in that moment, and that's all it is. I don't like throwing in some like random things unless it's like a serious moment, but it's like a cute wholesome thing like mixed into, like it can work, right? Not an issue. But typically in moments like what was happening here, when you have Okabe losing his fucking mind, you're not expecting, you know, some things to be funny mixed in between. But they work so well because nobody else knows what's going on. Only he knows what exactly is happening. He's the only one who retains memories of these things before. He's the only one who knows what this world was like in these situations and moments where, like, prior to him being here again and kind of going through it or having to explain it or kind of present that to everybody. So them messing around and acting the ways in which they have been makes sense. Like, that's how it should be. And I think being able to see that gives me, at least as the viewer, a sense of unease. Like I'm on edge the entire time because you don't know what has changed. You don't know what we're missing because he doesn't actually know what has occurred in this timeline, you know, going up to this moment of exactly where we are. And he's operating how things were previously without knowing a lot of stuff. So you're kind of on edge trying to figure out what exactly is happening while he's just getting harassed in a way, or treated in the way I guess he usually does by everybody else around him, which makes it even harder to really figure out what happens. So firstly, Suzuha's dad is who she's looking for, right? And her dad is going by tighter on this online form thing. He goes by a different name, first name at least, and she was assuming, because she hasn't seen him, that because there was this meeting, and I'm assuming he's the special speaker that they talked about, or Daru I think talked about, was gonna be there. She specifically was going because she thought this was her opportunity to go and meet him and finally be able to see him for the first time in Lord knows how long. So that's why she goes out of her way here to kind of venture into doing this. Now that could be a variety of things, right? That could be there is literally somebody like this, her dad, and everything that she said there was truthful. It could also be this person that's going, everything is still truthful up to this point, but the person is actually John in this instance, and they're just kind of using the other name so that they don't have to get like questioned as if they are John, or like prove themselves or anything along those lines. I think the more likely one is just a follower of his who kind of coined his own name, continuously followed down that route, and then he's kind of leading a lot of the charge here that John isn't leading. But I do have my suspicions almost that if it is the same person, and even if it's not, there's a possibility the one that we've talked to in multiple timelines and possibly thought about the idea of setting up a meeting between us and Okabe with, that we've had before, could have been this guy as well. Which would mean that he is somebody who is very much around. I don't know what that does too much for us, you know, moving the narrative of everything that's happening here forward, but it's definitely something that we have to keep our eyes on. The symbol and connection in which Suzuha has to him is also something else that we just have to continuously wait on and think about, because I'm assuming something regarding that's going to be important. It was nice to know that Daru's been involved too, and he is actually surfing these online things, so he was going to go as well. I wonder what his reaction would be if he saw Suzuha there. If he could count at her at the meeting, if he would ever mention something along those lines or whatever the case is. But that would also show, I guess, some of the interest that she seems to have had beforehand regarding this time machine and things regarding that. Where I'm still left is just her negativity almost for Kurisu, like where that's all coming from. Because originally I was like, oh, organization lady, oh, somebody out to get us, CERN, possibly, you know, sending info in the past and doing all these things. But Suzuha doesn't seem to change in the slightest from what I can tell throughout the changes in these timelines. Well, I guess none of the characters really do. Everybody still acts about the same, but it's definitely inconsistent, I guess, with some of the other characters where we can see things in moments. Kurisu not knowing the gender of Ruka, right? And moments like that, people not remembering certain events and certain things leading up to it. We haven't appeared, to my knowledge, for Suzuha to have something where we've told her before, or we know she said before, or there's been a conversation or something has happened before where she hasn't actually recalled or remembered it prior, which is where it's weird to me. And I think there's definitely got to be something more there that I can't pick up on. Also, on top of that, the idea that we looked at her staring up at the satellite, I think 1 or 2 times throughout this episode, and then by the end, when we were walking, we noticed there was none anymore and it disappeared, but the crash was still there, so it did happen at some point. I'm not even going to start with that, but I'm keeping that in mind too. The other big thing we get is a lot of moments, I guess, with character development, or maybe not even development, but insight to them, and also seeing relations with how they're going with Okabe. I think he's the most interesting because of how he approaches these things. He has this split personality thing that's been, you know, very notable and noticed beforehand. But this could also be something that could cause harm down the line and at some point. I don't know in what ways exactly, but it comes off more of, we see at the end he convinces himself, oh, I'm a mad scientist, I can do this, I should, you know, not be in fear of changing what's going to happen, and I should go out of my way and do this, right? Like having that fear almost from who his actual self is versus this persona that he's kind of built up to kind of protect himself almost. is causing conflict between each other, whereas I felt we were going to get lots of conflict between other members and things in the way that we approach this. It might be more internal things in the conflict that he kind of comes to, not knowing the direction to do things, not knowing if what he just did at the end here, we're trying to save and keep Suzuha around us, is the right thing to do. Is he have the right almost to take this upon himself and constantly change things? I wonder. And it's really, it's a tough one to get around to and really debate, I guess, what the proper way to kind of approach and do these things are. Usually you would say not change anything, but as you're so far in, maybe you have to. And I don't know. We see the instant changes and shifts that we have where the towns and everything kind of has changed over time. And he's putting all this on the one thing that Ferris kind of came up with, which I can't buy that directly, where he's saying it's because she asked for this, but we don't know that for sure. And that's why I was like upset that we didn't see the exact message that she sent, because if she asked for this and then it changed, we can backtrack it and be like, this makes perfect sense. But if she asked for other things, then we would have to pinpoint those exact moments and why these other things changed. And we don't do that. So it's kind of hard. It's nice to see everybody still remain friendly and remain the same basically throughout this, which kind of makes me very happy, because it just shows that they were all kind of meant to be in these moments together. It's like a fate thing almost, and they're kind of meant to be here. They're meant to be with each other and meant to kind of have these relations and actually get along with each other like this. There's no like actual event or thing that kind of came up in the way at random moments that caused this to happen, such as like somebody feeling like they're indebted to somebody or whatever the case might be. Like somebody's being stuck here if they don't want to. Like every time we return, the exact same people come around, which means that like I said, there's almost a fate thing involved here. And this is where they're all meant to be in these moments. And, you know, it's interesting too, just the choices that everybody makes. Like Ruka still dresses the same. Everybody dresses the same. Like nothing's really changed. This is when we get our whole moment. I love our flat as justice line. Of course, we have to, you know, show the representation. But this moment's very uncomfortable to see. But I get it. Like in this moment, he's being doubted almost, and he can't, you know, live with that. So he has to prove himself and prove that he's right. But in this timeline, Ruka has changed, whereas she had in the others is the most like, it seems like we're one behind in everything that's happening, right? We change things and nobody remembers Moika at all. We do it again and then everybody remembers her and she's back. You know, we change things for Ruka, doesn't actually go her way. We change things one more time. She's actually here and remembers. It's like you're doing something selfishly in a way, or you're doing something for yourself. It's not actually like working properly, but when you do it for other things, then it catches up and it like works. Like it's a weird, very weird thing, but that's not really the case, because we see at the end Okabe uses it for, I guess, his own purpose. But I guess you could argue that's more of doing it for someone else and with Suzuha. But it seems like we're like one step behind every way, you know, along the way here, which is really weird. We begin to get our conversations, Suzuha losing her dad or not having to see him and kind of going out of her way to end up seeing him here. I love the kind of heart-to-heart moment we almost get out of all of them here. And I like when Okabe's down to earth a little bit more and just being his normal self, not living up to this persona and just being a really kind person like he literally is. And Suzuha coming out and literally telling him that as well is really sweet. He really wants to go follow her, but he's shut down by Kurisu, so of course that doesn't end up working, but we end up having to do that later on in the episode anyways. We get a message from this person, and from the name, can't make anything out of it. Basically, they send them a picture of red jelly. Why is that the case? So we're typically using green to represent the things in which are happening, but green's usually meant as success. Green's a good color, right? For, I guess, what it's supposed to be, but in these moments, usually the green comes out, I guess it comes out in good moments, like things have actually happened, but we have seen the reports of the people dying in like the past and being covered in it and everything. So if that's the case, you'd assume that's not a good thing, but green could just be more success and you're headed in the right direction. Whereas red, getting this from somebody could mean like, dude, that's bad. You know, you don't keep doing what you're doing. You're going down a dark path in a way. And this isn't the direction to kind of go. Red also comes off in more of like a threatening way, getting this message from this random person that says that they're watching him. Who the fuck is that, right? And why are they watching us? Why are they sending us something along this? Are they trying to send a warning? Are they trying to hint towards something? Are they trying to tell you not to do the things that you're about to do? Can they tell? Like, do they know? What do they know? Why do they know? Lots of things that I can't even begin thinking about once again. We got our entire moment here. I love the conversation between them of Mayuri kind of knowing what's wrong or realizing there's things wrong here, and Buddy is not, all there in the head. And then him trying to like play up to it almost and just do exactly as she just said, but you can tell his heart's not really in it there. And then we have a really cute moment between them of them talking where she's like, I thought you were going to die at this moment, so I had to make these wishes that you don't end up dying. And then, I saved you. I'm the one who did it, which I thought was really funny of her kind of believing in that and having that satisfaction almost, like she calls this to happen. I am really curious as we pinpoint a little bit later on based on how he reacted with his fever and stuff when he was younger, and realizing at this moment maybe he gained this power when he was younger and while he was sick, and the ability to feel when these world lines move and kind of retain memories and whatever else the situation is. I wonder if there's a chance that he dies in this moment, and then the shift in world line is him actually not and continuing his life onwards, and then seeing, I guess, what comes as a result of afterwards. When one thing ends, a new thing starts, and then he continues to go. I wonder if that could even be a possibility, or if that's just like some stupid shit I'm thinking. And then once again, it's like a very serious moment. He's like really thinking about this stuff and he's a little bit panicked. And then the moment we come in, everybody's just kind of messing around and they're making the shit that they're doing. And it's a disaster in here, right? Like it's the pacing of it, but the way that, he's struggling internally to kind of wrap his head around everything. But it's also really nice to see him get stuck in these moments with these people and have almost this support in a way, or these moments that he can kind of separate himself from the things that he's really like stuck on and are in his mind and kind of driving him crazy here, and can kind of relieve his stress almost a little bit, or calm him down for these moments, a distraction in a way, and have this group that works really well for that. I think is really, really cool. We experiment, or we show off some stuff, we fuck up a lot of things. We get a big moment here with Kurisu, which she's very telling of like her hating, the environment and everything that she was with before, based on how people act and, go about things within the labs and stuff that she was with before. But it's really fun for him to kind of, or for her to be a part of this, something that is so fun and so childish and goofy in a way. And him even bringing it up that maybe that's what he wanted, and he just wanted people to be like friendly with him and stuff, is really, really, really sweet. But also them like calling each other, companions, and recognizing each other almost as like equals in a way, and partners is really, really cool. And then we get the really, the usual turn on the lights, people are way too close moment between the two, building up our chemistry and our tension between them. I love this moment of sending them home and being like, all right, it's late, you guys gotta go. But he waits outside on her arrival to possibly come back. The trust he places in others almost, and the care he has for it, is really, really interesting. Her saying goodbye to him here is heartbreaking for him to see, and him starting to really get this internal moment once again, like I said, where he's debating with himself about what the rights and wrongs are and the path that he should properly take. This is when we see that the satellite's been disappeared. Why the fuck did that happen? I don't know. And then we get our entire conversation here where he actually sends the message back. He tells his other self to basically go chase after her, don't let her go, and then she has to catch us back up and tell us everything about how this happened. This is when we learn about her dad being in this moment and all the stuff that have occurred, the night before. I don't know. I guess stumped there. I keep saying I'm stumped, but I'm really not. I feel like this, I've said before, isn't the type of show where you're supposed to know what's happening, at least first time through. And I just need to talk myself through it, as everything I just did here, get some ideas possibly in my mind, and then use those as I go forward and latch on to something maybe. And then once things start making sense, maybe I can kind of come to a conclusion and stuff a little bit earlier than I normally would have, or that's really presented, but it's going to take some time. And I think I should be more accepting of that, but I'm usually not, which is the problem. Gonna be all from me though. If you liked it all, the like and subscribe to me a lot to me. Feel free to check out the other videos in the channel. Leave any comments about this episode or series. Feel free to also participate in that poll. Be back for 11 soon. You guys have a good one. Peace.